A quiet structural crack is opening within the bedrock of American industrial labor. A Federal Monitor's report reveals that UAW President Shawn Fain allegedly abused his authority by retaliating against union officials. This development is not just internal political drama. It has direct structural implications for major legacy automakers. The federal investigators' findings point to deep internal friction within the organization that recently forced historic wage concessions. For institutional investors holding major automotive positions, this leadership instability introduces a completely new risk premium. The labor stability built into recent manufacturing agreements might be far more fragile than the market assumes. To understand why this leadership shift matters, we have to look at the structural moats of legacy automakers like GM, Ford, and Stellantis. Historically, these legacy giants have defended their market share through massive manufacturing scale, deep dealership networks, and heavy intellectual property. These structural moats require a highly specialized and intensely structured labor force to maintain high production run rates. However, this massive operational footprint is a double-edged sword. Unlike software or light manufacturing, these physical asset bases cannot easily be relocated or automated overnight when labor costs spike. The labor force itself acts as both the engine of the business and its primary structural vulnerability. But legacy moats aren't just built on raw manufacturing capacity. They rely on highly predictable operating cost environments. For years, GM and Ford have optimized their premium internal combustion engine segments to fund their expensive clean energy transitions. These highly profitable truck and sport utility lines support the massive capital expenditures required to develop next-generation platforms. If the union leadership that oversees these factories enters a period of structural instability, operational predictability collapses. When internal labor politics become volatile, execution risks at assembly plants multiply quickly. This instability directly threatens the very cash engines that support these multi-billion-dollar corporate transformations. Let's translate this labor uncertainty into raw financial metrics from recent quarters. If we look closely at the quarterly financial statements of GM and Ford, we see a delicate balancing act. Both companies have fought hard to protect their operating margins amid rising input and labor costs. GM has managed to sustain decent margins through tight inventory control and premium pricing power on full-size trucks. However, Ford has seen elevated warranty costs and labor inefficiencies eat into its operating income. Any additional operational friction from labor disputes or union governance issues will directly squeeze these fragile operating margins, putting near-term earnings targets at risk. That is only part of the story. The key metric that institutional allocators watch most closely is industrial free cash flow. In recent quarters, Stellantis has demonstrated how quickly capital efficiency can deteriorate when regional operations lose momentum. Stellantis experienced significant inventory buildups and pressure on pricing power, which severely impacted cash generation. This underscores a critical macroeconomic reality. When high fixed cost structures are combined with unstable operational execution, cash generation can turn negative remarkably fast. As union leadership enters a period of investigation and internal conflict, the operational flexibility needed to manage inventory and protect cash flows diminishes. That brings us directly to how corporate leadership is responding. In recent earnings calls, GM management emphasized a highly disciplined approach to capital allocation. They have prioritized massive share buybacks and robust dividends to keep equity holders satisfied while trimming non-essential development projects. Similarly, Ford's executive team has shifted its focus away from rapid electric vehicle scaling toward hybrid platforms. This strategic pivot aims to capture higher margin, immediate consumer demand. However, these management plans rely on absolute stability across domestic manufacturing facilities. If labor disputes resurface due to a leadership crisis, these carefully planned capital allocation strategies could quickly fall apart. But capital allocation is only effective if execution at the plant level remains flawless. Stellantis leadership has faced severe pressure from regional dealer networks to resolve operational bottlenecks and clear bloated inventories. This operational friction is worsened by escalating tension with union representatives. As UAW leadership faces intense internal scrutiny over the monitor's findings, the union's focus may shift from constructive operational agreements to high-profile defensive posturing. For management teams, this means negotiations and daily plant management could become highly politicized. This makes it much harder to implement the cost-saving measures needed to protect current guidance. Here's where the broader macroeconomic picture becomes critical. The legacy automotive sector is operating in a deeply challenging environment. High interest rates continue to pressure retail auto loan affordability, forcing dealers to offer more aggressive incentives. At the same time, the global transition to electric vehicles has proven far more capital-intensive and slower-moving than initially modeled. This leaves domestic automakers stuck in a difficult transition period. They must run legacy combustion operations at maximum efficiency just to subsidize the development of unprofitable next-generation platforms. Any disruption to this delicate operational balance could have severe consequences for their long-term competitive standing. This competitive gap becomes even more visible when comparing unionized legacy builders to non-unionized rivals like Tesla. Tesla operates with a structurally lean manufacturing footprint and a flexible, non-unionized labor model in the United States. This structural difference gives non-unionized competitors a massive cost advantage. They can adjust operations and pricing quickly without the friction of rigid work rules or complex labor agreements. As legacy automakers digest the massive wage hikes from recent contracts, this cost disparity becomes even more pronounced. The governance crisis inside the UAW only widens this operational agility gap, making legacy builders even more vulnerable. Now look at the systemic governance risk unfolding inside the union itself. The Federal Monitor's investigation into Shawn Fain's actions, including the alleged retaliation against Vice President Rich Boyer, points to deep institutional dysfunction. If union leadership becomes consumed by internal legal battles and power struggles, their ability to execute steady labor relations degrades. For automakers, this creates a highly unpredictable operating environment. A distracted or defensive union leadership may feel pressured to take a more aggressive stance on local grievances to re-establish their authority. This increases the risk of unexpected wildcat strikes and localized production delays. But governance issues are not the only risk vectors we are tracking. The combination of rising labor costs, regulatory compliance pressures, and potential supply chain disruptions creates a real risk of margin contraction. Legacy automakers are already working with thin margins on their entry-level vehicles. If internal union turmoil leads to localized work stoppages, the high fixed cost nature of these assembly operations will quickly amplify those losses. Institutional capital is highly sensitive to this kind of operational volatility. If investors begin to price in a higher risk of labor disruptions, we could see significant capital flight from these legacy names. All of these dynamics point to a major valuation reassessment for the legacy automotive sector. Historically, companies like GM and Ford trade at low single-digit earnings multiples. This is because the market has always priced in their cyclicality and heavy capital needs. However, if the stability of their domestic manufacturing operations is compromised, even these low valuations may be difficult to defend. The market must now evaluate whether these legacy builders can successfully fund their long-term EV transitions while dealing with volatile labor dynamics and rising cost bases. This structural shift suggests a cautious approach is warranted. This brings us to our tactical positioning for these major industrial players. We are placing GM and Ford on a trim consideration. This is due to the rising execution risks and potential labor volatility ahead. While both companies have shown solid performance recently, the combination of union leadership friction and a cooling macro environment suggests limited upside. Conversely, non-unionized players like Tesla remain on a breakout watch. This is because they are well positioned to leverage their structural cost advantages during this industry transition. Managing risk in this environment requires prioritizing structural agility over legacy scale. Ultimately, the intersection of industrial labor instability and corporate restructuring offers a clear lesson. A company's structural moat is only as strong as its underlying operational stability. As the investigation into UAW leadership continues, institutional allocators must look beyond simple earnings reports and closely monitor these labor dynamics. We will continue to track these developments and assess how they impact capital allocation across the industrial sector. For deep, institutional-grade market analysis that helps you navigate these complex corporate shifts, make sure to subscribe to SR Money News. Turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dive reports. Thank you for watching.